Well, I just want to get started with this. Hello, my name is Anthony, and I have felt compelled to try to help other people, other men who have gone through different sexual traumas in their life. I was never aware of mine. I did not believe in or think that repressed memories were a thing until I was went through an exercise and was exposed to my own. And it was a very humbling situation to have that knowledge and memories come back to me. Um, in that, I learned that when I was around 4 years of age, that I was locked in a trailer room, uh, and a camcorder was set up, and I was raped by my grandfather. I am unsure of how long I was locked in that room, uh, and how long, and even all of the details that were pertained in that event. All I know is that knowledge became apparent to me, and I started to work through that. I was able to see a set patterns of behavior throughout my life, through my childhood, teenage years, early adulthood, of patterns of self destructiveness and doubt, fear, pain, and um, being frustrated with realizing that and seeking help and not being able to find that help anywhere, even coming on to YouTube and Google and not finding really any significant resources, uh, or anyone even really talking about it. As I started to talk about this situation of mine with friends, family, and acquaintances, it became very apparent to me that this is extremely common. A lot of the men in my life, um, after exposing myself to them, opened up to different traumas that they had experienced. And I felt like it was a true disservice that there was nothing out there and that no one was talking about it. It's such a vacuum, uh, and not being filled, and everyone just ignoring it, going on. And there's space there for people to receive help. My goal is to, by exposing myself and what I've gone through, what I've done to try to uh, heal and move on past this, and hopefully guide others, or at least give someone else an idea, if not the the courage to seek help. I'm a veteran. I tried seeking help through the VA multiple times, and I just get shuffled around from one spot to another. They just want to throw different medications at me. I was not interested in taking medications. I told them multiple times I wasn't interested in it. I was seeking a counselor, and the best I got from them was a counselor I could speak to about once a month. I took it because it was better than nothing. Eventually, got frustrated, seeked out a counselor on my own, and I'm still fighting a fight with them to receive a counselor through them. Um, Also, on top of that, I started researching on my own, which in my research, I learned that that is an extremely common thing for individuals to do when they start trying to process through their trauma. Self help has been a huge um, catalyst for it. It's really put into perspective what the fear and doubting does to your mind, and it gives you somewhere to point at on what you need to do to start working through it. I've backpedaled a few times here and there in this, and getting caught up in the fear and getting caught up in the overwhelmingness of uh, my past trauma, um, where I started to feel lost and hopeless again, and really stopped me from going forward with this channel. I got to the point where I felt like it wasn't a good idea. It wasn't what I needed to do. I was crazy. I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm just a guy. And, but that's the thing, is I'm just a guy. And there's so many just guys out there, men out there hurting and blanking it with drugs and alcohol, pornography, video games, food. I've done all of them, trying to suppress the pain and discomfort, and trying to just feel something else other than that fear and anger. Um, I don't know if I ever would have even became aware of this if it wasn't for uh, the lockdowns a few years ago and being stuck inside the house. I stayed home with my two sons as my wife continued to work. And in that time is when I started working on self help. And that was a big thing that pushed me to this point. I started to try to grasp my financial knowledge, because I would impulsively buy things and not understand why. And as I started to develop an understanding of money, I was able to kind of rein that in, but realizing that there was still a lot of other room for improvement. With that, then I started to notice that I was classically definition addicted to marijuana, and I was struggling to break free from that. And I was also addicted to pornography. I reached out to a self help class and started taking a class on the pornography, which is what exposed me to the exercise that brought back a lot of my repressed memories. With that, I was able to really start to step away from both of those addictions. And I have not touched marijuana since early January. I've gone a few months twice with pornography. I have relapsed twice with that. And that is a constant struggle that tends to come back with the fear. When the fear comes back, that's when those urges come back. And now being able to, in more recent times, linking that, understand that that comes from the fear. Um, I am interested to see how that continues to help me grow if I am able to stay in that mindset. Another big thing is knowing who I want to be, knowing that the life I was living wasn't the life that I was meant to live, knowing that it wasn't who I wanted to be, knowing that I wanted to be the best father and husband I could be for my wife and children. And I was not living congruently with those values or that mindset. As I stepped into that role, I, what I refer to as, became awakened. I felt on fire. I was killing the game of life for about a month. And then I started to struggle. Um, Before then, I started to develop my purpose. I remember constantly sitting in church throughout my life, hearing different pastors or speakers talk about, you have a purpose, you're here for a purpose, and never feeling like I had a purpose, wanting a purpose. The only things I knew that I liked doing was I enjoyed uh, automotive hobbies. I had a few others, but cars was more of a hard passion for me. Um, And but I didn't see how that could have been my purpose. And so I constantly felt like I had none. With that, I constantly felt lost. Coming into the knowledge that I had, I started to develop my purpose of wanting to help other people, um, other men, work through, if possible, work through it, if not even just having a place to see someone else who is struggling with this and wanting to do better and wanting to be better and what they've done to do it. I don't think this is a one size fits all scenario. Everybody is different. Everybody's going to have what works for them and what resonates with them. But if it's anything of just seeing someone else go through the struggles, seeing someone else being open and real with their struggles and what they're trying to do, if that helps anyone, then it is worth it. And if it helps no one, then at least I know at a minimum, I feel like I'm helping myself and working towards what I feel is my purpose and my passion. Um, I plan on going through what I've learned in my research of really following neuroscience when it comes to addiction and recovery with trauma, how the brain responds to that, what I've learned through different uh, lectures and my own counseling with the uh, psychiatric side of it, how how it affects your brain, how it affects your thought process, where that all comes from, because there's a lot of different chemical releases. And me being able to put a physical viewpoint on it helped. Um, Me reaching out to others helped. Being able to speak about it was a big thing, and not wanting to live in that because it happened to me at such a young age. Always I just thought that that's what life was, constantly feeling like I was depressed. As I got older, I just really assumed that that was just the norm. And it wasn't until about a month ago I started to learn that it wasn't depression, it was the overwhelming sense of shame and guilt. And that knowledge and education of learning that really helped me move past that, because then when those feelings come, I am able to go, what am I feeling guilty or ashamed of? And is that a true perspective of what is congruent with that situation? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. And if it's not, it is usually because of a lie that I have said or done. And me taking responsibility for that, me stepping up and exposing myself to that I lied, um, really sets that back right and really stops the self-destructive behavior. I want to continue to do this. I'm hoping that this reaches anybody who, at least when if they come to that point where they want to look, that they're able to find something available, uh, somebody talking about it other than just really loose blanket statements. Um, because it is a shame that no one is talking about this. I understand why most men do not want to speak about this. I can see I can see that as very apparent. Most people are very ashamed or feel that um, they won't be believed. It's a common one. I felt the same way when I found out and I wanted to tell my parents. I refused to tell them for a few days because I felt like they were not going to believe me. And me going and confronting them and telling them was a huge thing for me. It was very empowering and reassuring to know that they did believe me. Um, I also know that it's a big hit to masculinity, knowing that you were defiled or betrayed or had those things done to you, uh, especially at a young age. It really changes your mindset and brain chemistry, and there's a lot to work through. And it's a lifelong thing. It is a fight. It is a fight to improve yourself and to be better and to get through it. It truly is a sickness and a disease. Yeah, which is something else that I did not believe for a long time. I thought that was crazy, that addiction was considered a disease. That these thoughts were a disease. It was. I always viewed it as like it's you're sad or pathetic, like you just have no self control. And once you start to really research and understand it, it's not that you have no self control. It is that your brain chemistry is literally changed because of events, because of traumatic events, the way your frontal lobe interacts with your sympathetic nervous system. And it can really mess up how your brain processes situations. And then your brain is just constantly seeking to heal through whatever activities it can find, um, through dopamine, serotonin, all those different, very common, knowledgeable things now. But as you really research into it, you really develop a better understanding of everything. Um, I look forward to doing this again. If anybody finds this video and has questions, I will monitor this video for questions, and I look forward to answering any questions. Um, I am going to continue to primarily go live for a little while. Eventually, I would like to do pre recorded stuff as I research and compile all my notes and be able to present everything, um, in a better manner with charts and graphs and whatnot. If anybody has anything they would like to see, then I'm very open to that, and I would appreciate any feedback, positive or negative, because I know that people need help, and I want to help someone. And so if you need help, know that there's someone else out there struggling with it too, working through it and wanting to be someone for you to lean on, so I can have someone to lean on. And um, it's going to be all right. We are we are going to get through this, and I look forward to continuing finding other people who are looking to mend.